My name is Joel McDonald, and I was the ADR Director for Robotics Notes.
I am Tatum, and I was an adaptive writer on Steins and also played Okabe.
I'm John Burgmeier. I'm the head writer for Funimation. So I oversaw the writing crews for Chaos Ed, Robotics Notes, and Steins.
See those pile bunkers?
How do you aim?
You don't need to. If you fire one of them off at this speed while the enemy is in range, you can't miss.
Hey, you can't use the honorary chief as a punching bag.
Except when we fought, you were able to dodge it.
Robotics Notes was really delved into, obviously, the robotics kind of aspect of everything, but there was also the added element of Kaito and Akio, the two, the lead boy and girl, and their elephant-mouse syndrome, which changed their perception of time, which was a lot of fun. So for him, it would kind of slow down, and he was able to, play fighting games. Initially, it was, only applied to fighting games, but then as we went through the series, it applied to how he was able to manipulate and drive these giant mecha robots. But yeah, it would slow time down to where he would be able to make decisions seemingly in a kind of Jedi fashion.
There was more to it than feigning for Aki and me, though. We were the only ones who experienced severe side effects afterward. Something known as the elephant-mouse syndrome. It causes slow motion and fast-forward attacks.
Steins very similarly, I think the most meaningful, at least metaphysical connection in there is the relationship of the human mind to time, and particularly how Okabe struggles with being really the only character in the series that knows everything that's changing, everything that's, whenever he jumps world lines into something new, he has to go back and explain to everyone else what he's trying to get them to avoid. And it's very powerful to just watch how it slowly just, his relationship to time becomes so non-linear and so overwhelming to him that psychologically he just begins to unravel. It's really, really fascinating. Because you don't think about that when, all of us, time travel as a concept in fiction has been around for a long time. But it's seldom that you see explored what it can do to a human being, like the psychological and emotional side effects of mucking about in time.
Very 12 Monkeys.
Right, very much so. And so that was really the driving principle, I think, of Steins, at least emotionally. And God knows, and getting to write it and voice it at the same time, I kind of felt Okabe's pain because I would revisit the same scenes over and over again in different contexts. It was like, wait, I just wrote that yesterday. No, I didn't. That was 2 months ago. But this is a scene that I wrote, a month ago, but it's coming up later again in the series, and now I'm like, oh, God. Method acting.
Colleen had like the dry erase markers on the window between you and her with the 3 separate timelines and all these markings on it. It looked like total grief
Drawing
to
out
me.
the world lines.
Right. I had the same thing on my desk at home. I had all these little Post-it notes connected with little threads so I could change them out per episode. I just had this idea, and oh my God, I made like a PowerPoint presentation. I look like a crazy person. Like if someone who had no idea what I was actually doing would walk in and think that I was like trying to discover that JFK was assassinated by a tiger or something. Like I looked like I should be wearing a tinfoil hat and like just flashing a light in Morse code into the sky every night and be like, nothing to see here, you're fine.
I thought that you did that. I'm learning something new.
It's all just research for a role, John.
Chaos Head, I guess, explored the mind, the power of the mind, and the mind's relationship to reality. Specifically, that what we see and perceive in everyday existence is not actually reality. It's reality filtered through our 5 senses. And how can you ever really know what's real? How do I know that this shirt is real, or that you are real sitting next to me, or that plant? Because all I have are my eyes and my ears and electrical impulses coming into my brain. And then it suggests that perhaps someone could have the ability to tamper with the electrical signals that are in your brain, and by feeding you false information can effectively change the reality around you. And the lead character, in fact, is one such person who can basically manifest new objects into being, with the power of his mind.
It's a terrifying thought, though. I mean, to know that, and incidentally, this plant isn't real.
No, right. I was about to say.
I suspected. I wasn't sure.
The least real of all of us, I hope.
I don't know about that, but yeah, the whole idea of not really knowing that the most basic things you take for granted, like the world as filtered through your five senses, may be completely false.
Right.
Because I mean, that's been an ongoing philosophical debate for centuries now. And that's that.
Well, and I was actually looking at something just the other day where they were talking about how the idea is that no memories are actually real. Like memories are all perceptions, and there's no such thing as an actual literal, for lack of a better word. There probably is one. I just don't know it. But that all memories are just kind of our own perceptions of kind of how we would like to remember things, more or less.
So in other words, rather than memories being like a fair representation of some past experience, we kind of create them. Like we remember them, we author our own memories, rather, not reality.
Right. And if you're like me, the more often you tell the story, the farther away you get from reality. That's just, but...
do you find that a liberating concept, or do you find that terrifying?
I find it a little scary, to be honest. I mean, that I don't have any memories that I can rely on. Like that they've even had court cases where people several people all pinned this one guy as he did it, but then when they start talking to them about what they remember, it's all so disparate that they really none of them did, and that's a little scary. And yeah.
That's scary when you apply that to Okabe's plight in Steins Gate, since he's literally the only character that remembers from jump to jump what all the different timelines have skewed into. Not being able to trust his own memory. Yeah. If that had ever been introduced to him as a concept, I don't think he would have made it. I think he would have absolutely just come undone completely and have just been floating out there, way beyond the alpha line. Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence whether I find that a liberating concept. I mean, I guess the egoist in me is like, it's all me. Yeah. But the other side is like, oh God, it's all me? Oh no, because it's weird. I guess it just goes to show you how much we kind of seek external validation for what's up in here. Yeah. And how, I think it was Berkeley, the philosopher, who came up with the old saw, I dreamt last night that I'm an old man and I dreamt last night that I was a butterfly, but upon awakening I don't know whether that was true or whether I'm a butterfly now dreaming myself as an old man.
All right, well that freaked me out just now.
Right?
I'm a butterfly, I'm pretty sure. I will be conducting the rest of this.
Suddenly real. No.
So yeah, nice.
See what working in this business does to us. We're smarter, but I am gonna go home and wear a foil hat now. Just in case. Then I'll find out tomorrow it wasn't a foil hat at all.
It's another damn butterfly.
Man, these things are always so long. I don't get half of it. I could reread this a dozen times, Gezi. Could you just give me a summary?
It says that solar activity is now at its peak. Because of this, Earth's magnetosphere has become unstable. The Committee of 300 is attempting to use this instability to artificially induce something akin to a coronal mass ejection.
John Coleman, I don't know if did you look into that at all? It's fascinating. That he was an officer in the U.S. Intelligence Services and that had access to all these high-level classified documents, traveled the world, and then was in the early 60s, maybe mid-60s, but kind of started to kind of put together this theory based on what he had seen and what he had learned, that there is a committee of 300 individuals attempting to decimate the human population to a level that more or less maybe resources would be more accessible. I'm not really entirely sure what his idea was of the end game, but that this group is mentioned in all three as being kind of this driving force of the villainy of each series, and that has to come back. There has to be another Sidney Coleman show. I've got to know how this wraps up. But
there should be. Well, what's really fascinating about that, and the Committee of 300, they're not called that in Steins Gate ever. They're called CERN.
CERN, right.
But that is, again, Okabe's own handle for them, and the fact that they clearly control CERN, or, well, I say clearly, it is all going on, possibly in his head. But one of Okabe's more interesting, I think actually fundamentally, his most interesting trait is the fact that this game he plays with himself in his head about, this sort of quixotic idea of well, I'm a mad scientist and I'm up against them, the amorphous they, the evil ones or whatever. He has many names for them, but that's all just something he does to make life interesting. He doesn't really sincerely believe it. He's not insane. And when he slowly begins to realize, oh wait, there is something out there. Actually, there is an organization indeed, and they're after me, and I've been right all this time, just making it up. Which I think that's a fascinating concept. I mean, I don't pretend to know whether there is, really, a committee of 300 or something like that. I do know that that theme of an evil organization that wants to, pare down the human population just to make, to make it a paradise again is an old one. That's been with us for a very, very, very long time. In fact, goes back to ancient mythology and the whole idea of like the flood, clearing the earth away, and just a few people left because too many of us is just not going to work. So that's an interesting idea, but I think something that Steins Gate very, very subtly addresses is the idea that this thing can become a reality by just imagining it, or at least finding that what you've written about or what you've pretended to be so in your head can actually be real in the long run, and maybe in some strange way you were the author of that reality, as chaos. Right, exactly. So I mean, how weird would that be if as the show, the more semicolon shows come down the wire, that this is all. I mean, I definitely think there's some master planet work, on their part, of course, because everything dovetails too wonderfully. But wouldn't it be interesting if all this turns out to be true? Wouldn't it be interesting in some strange, like, time travel, timey-wimey, wibbly-wobbly kind of way? It inspires a group of 300 people to become the Committee of 300. And then, like, what?
There you go.
Perhaps, I mean, even in Robotics, it's the Gun Barrel show.
Right.
The final episode of Gun Barrel, they exposed the conspiracy. Maybe all of these semicolon shows, the conspiracy is being exposed to us now, and we are seeing the truth as fiction.
And the room explodes.
All right. Wow. I think, wouldn't it be funny if, like, 100 years from now, like, someone else is in this room having this exact same discussion, only it's real, and we're all, like, on the Committee of 300. They're like, you can see here, the germ of the idea came from Joel McDonald, John Burgmeier, and, and they're discussing, could this be real? Yeah, you wouldn't do well on that committee.
No. I was just thinking, this is becoming, like, math with words. Like, my head is just so full.
I don't know. Would you want to be on that committee, though, if you could, like, to control the world?
I mean, well, it's not made clear as to whether these 300, I mean, I assume they would be the surviving group. Like, I can imagine that they would allow themselves to be decimated.
You would think not.
So I would prefer to be on the group just because of the survival aspect of it.
If you had to choose a side, yes.
Right. Right. As to whether or not I would have anything to contribute, I doubt it. I make funny noises sometimes, but I don't know if they need somebody like me.
Well, I don't know. I'd like to think I could contribute, but I'd probably learn that, oh, wait, no, they've already got 500. They've already got 299 guys that can do what I can do, so, well, crap. Right. I just got in because I'm 300. That's it. Like, I just got in because I drew the lucky number out of the hat. Wow, I'm going to go home and think about this so much tonight and be like, wow, this could be, I don't know, maybe somebody is up to something in doing all these shows. Maybe someone is trying to warn us all.
I bet it's Nye. I bet it's Brina's character. From
I believe
Steins
that.
Gate, yeah.
I believe it. I believe it's actually Brina. Yeah.
There you go. That's
Brina
more likely.
Valencia as the head of the evil committee. I have no trouble resolving what I know of her with that image in my head. And I say that with love.
Right.
I just get on her good side now.
She's very capable.
Yeah.
Very capable. Yeah. And I'm being complimentary because I want to be on her good side.
Well, at this point, all I can really do is ask you to trust me. But something else to keep in mind. If your completed robot is well received at the expo, you might be asked to develop other large-scale robots in the future. Together with JAXA, you can build a robot of justice that will kick all kinds of bad guy butt, just like you've always wanted. Well, what do you say?
Now you're making it sound like a weapon. I'm afraid I can't condone that type of project.
I was just, exaggerating.
Just speaking as a viewer, there does seem to be a trend, a scientific philosophy that sort of underpins all of it. And we've touched on it a little bit already. But it seems like, what's going on in the scientific world right now, particularly in the world of, like theoretical physics and the stuff they're doing at CERN, the real one with the C.
Yes.
They're exploring, I guess, the fabric of reality and trying to figure out what makes everything up. Why are we here? How are we here? And what they're discovering at every turn is that reality, existence, the universe is far stranger, you know, and there's far more to it than anything we could have imagined. And it seems like that, you know, that's, like we say, is the journey that sort of the characters go on, that they discover the world is vast and weird and wild. And, you know, I think that's directly inspired by, you know, the scientific frontier and what's going on
Definitely.
in that department.
And I think, too, along those lines, in all three shows, there's this undercurrent of, you know, this sort of philosophical underpinning of, you know, knowledge for its own sake. At what point does the cost become too high? Because the human mind can only bear so much, presumably. And so, you know, we see these characters having to deal with the world around them becoming so much stranger and weirder, and knowing, well, can they survive what that does to them emotionally and psychologically? And that is kind of, I think that's a very interesting question and a very poignant one to be asking in our own time, when science is just kind of exploding and finding out so many things that I think we've gone past, science at least has gone past the point where it can just stop and say we know enough, because every new discovery just almost compels them, compels the discipline to find out more. And the deeper they go, the more out there it becomes, and the less sense everything seems to make. All the different branches. This happened in the 20th century, of course, and many famous philosophers and scientists bemoaned the fact that science itself, all these different branches began splintering off from each other, much like, you know, world lines, because they were becoming so obsessed with, or not so obsessed, they had to go off in different directions because the questions they were asking them were leading them so far apart from each other. And so now the sort of alchemists, the philosopher's stone, the idea is, you know, the grand unified field theory, something that can bring all of these disciplines back together. And we're so far away from that, at least in my understanding, we're so far away from that and continue to get further and further away from any kind of unity in terms of just some philosophical system to bring all of this into something like clarity. That, you know, because not only do the disciplines themselves keep splintering off, but disciplines within the discipline, so it just keeps, it's endless, and it's, where do we stop? Where is it leading us? And these are interesting questions, and I don't necessarily, I mean, they're questions that don't really have answers, and that's, of course, why we have to ask them. But I think that is definitely a huge part of the whole series of, you know, at what point do you just have to settle for a comforting fiction you make for yourself, because the questions will just lead you down blind alley after blind alley after blind alley.
When is your TED Talk? Because this is I have nothing to say.
The thing is, I'm having one right now on a different timeline. The company isn't nearly as interesting, though, so I much prefer to be here.
Sure.
So right now, in this timeline, is where I've deposited my consciousness. Rest assured. This is what Steins Gate did to me.
No, you.
This is what Steins Gate did to me.
No.
This is what it did. I take no responsibility for it. Or maybe I do. Maybe I did create the whole thing. I don't know anymore. I don't know.
We're going to need help from some professionals.
Pros? Like Doc?
Think bigger. I mean real experts. We've got some right here on the island, and it's time we got in touch.
No, you don't mean...
Yes. We are going to Jax's Tanegashima Space Center.
You gotta be kidding me.
Joel McDonald signing off. I just want to say thanks for everybody for watching. It's been a blast working on Robotics Notes and getting to watch the work that had been done before me, and I hope everybody else has as much fun watching it as I had working on it.
Absolutely, same here. J. Michael Tatum signing off. Thank you guys so much for watching and for being so supportive of what is in fact a trilogy of amazing, amazing shows that has, it certainly changed my life getting to work on them and be a part of it. So I'm very, very proud, and I'm very, 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 very ecstatic that it has such a following, because the shows, all of them, deserves the audience that it has, and that makes me very, very happy. So thank you very much.
John Burgmeier, thanks for watching, and hopefully we'll be able to do this again for the next installment of the Science Adventure series.
Yes.
Woohoo!
Huh?
Hello? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?